Boom shakalaka. Bitcoin up 3% for the week, Ethereum up 10% for the week, while speculators are still scared about the inflation numbers. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what these inflation numbers actually mean for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, why it could push the price even higher, and the one thing that could make this the absolute blast off bottom for Bitcoin. You definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we're taking a look at Bitcoin and altcoin prices, why this is likely the bottom despite what everybody's talking about with inflation coming up and all the fears surrounding that. We're going to talk about why all the fears are particularly overblown right now and why Bitcoin price is likely to blast off from the levels it's at right now. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, come join us over on Twitter at @TheCryptoLove. Push the like button. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Now, today, the fear has jumped up to 42, which is a lot less than it was yesterday at 30, which is kind of surprising because if we take a look across the market, not much market movement over the past day. But if we take a look over the past week, Ethereum up 10%, BNB up 17%, Cardano up 5%, Polkadot up 15%. So we are seeing a lot of movement in altcoins over the past week. Today, Bitcoin at 23,775, Ethereum at 1770, BNB at 324, XRP 37 cents, Cardano 53 cents, Solana $41, and Polkadot $9. And if you want to know the top coins today based on artificial intelligence and machine learning, they would be Civic, Euclid Coin, Quant, Pax Gold, and Kusama. You can check out Token Metrics. There is a 1-week free trial down in the description. Now, Bitcoin today finding support on top of the 200 weekly moving average, this yellow line, which was very good news. Now, my theory on what's going to happen, we have from the Pi cycle bottom, which happened back on July 13th. We have the bottom here. We also have the bottom where it bounced off of there on the 26th. If we take this blue line, I think Bitcoin is going to bounce back and forth between there and the top of this trend channel it's been in since the middle of June until roughly it reaches this $30,000 area, which was previous support. It could turn to resistance here, seeing Bitcoin price drop until it comes back to levels where we are right now, this $25,000 area, which coincidentally by then will be the multi-year support area before it blasts off before November. Now, why also? Well, if we take a look at the time frames, it's going to, in this channel, it's going to reach the $30,000 area by Rectember. And then if it reaches that and drops back down, guess what? Rocktober is right around the corner for blast off for Bitcoin. But despite that, people are still very, very scared about inflation. They're still talking about a recession, global politics, the world's coming to an end. You hear it nonstop all over the place. And if we take a look at this article here, has U.S. inflation peaked? Who cares? 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. The latest U.S. inflation data is poised to release this week as Bitcoin price action spikes higher after a promising weekly close. Now, they're talking about how right now commodities aren't looking good, and the most anticipated data on the CPI is this Wednesday. If it comes back in, we're due to lead to crashy mode. So a lot of people thinking that the economy is based on this data, but really what's going on is the economy is based on people's thoughts about this data. Because if we take a look at the last 2 times, this was 2 times ago, the CPI release. This was on the 13th. Look at how quickly Bitcoin and stocks recovered afterwards. Okay, they dropped temporarily, but then they recovered. Now, the last time it happened on July 28th, guess what? They didn't drop, they actually spiked up. So likely this time the prices are going to spike because if we take a look, the odds of an economic recession are rising, but the stock market has already priced it in and found its bottom. This recession is no surprise to anybody. We have known about it since 2008 when they didn't clean up the housing bubble back then the first time. And guess what? Since 2020 with the COVID crash, everybody knew this was going to happen. It's not a surprise like previous recessions were. This one is catching no one in the dark. It's already completely priced in the markets. As a matter of fact, all of the markets right now are showing historic buying signals, stuff that we don't see on a very regular basis, like this right here. The Nasdaq's first weekly true strength indicator cross after bouncing off of this red line, the 200 weekly EMA, has had some decent entries for the Nasdaq, but also for Bitcoin. We can see historically when this has happened previously, every time. Great buy opportunity for Bitcoin, but also great buy opportunity for NASDAQ. This is basically once the NASDAQ washes out all the dumb money, well, it's a great buying opportunity. Not only that, but if we take a look at the 18-month Williams %R oscillator, when it crosses back over this oversold indicator, The average bound, the average 1-year return is 31% in the NASDAQ. Can you imagine what that would be for cryptocurrency? Something enormous. We can take a look where we are right now compared with where we've been historically since 1986. So look at that. After every time this signal flashed, major bull runs ensued, which is where we are right now. Also, if we take a look at versus the 5-year bond yield, we can see this resistance line right here on the bond yield. Every time the bond yield hits that, guess what? Bitcoin takes off. Hits that, Bitcoin takes off. Guess what? We're hitting it again and changing trajectory, likely blast off for Bitcoin. And this is the big one. Right now, everybody's talking about recession, about inflation, about things going terrible. Look at how bad these numbers are. This is an artificial recession, if anything. Basically, the Fed is trying not to implode. But the last 4 times the spread between new orders and inventories and ISM manufacturing index was this negative, the US was already in a recession. So historically, we'd have already been in a recession for many years at this point. Right now, it's just recession beginning. I don't think so. Basically, this is artificially created, and it's going to bounce back a lot faster than anyone's expecting because of this Fed pivot indicator, the average of 5-year yield and Fed funds rate multiplied by the national debt. Historically, when we've gotten to levels with this trend line, it has to turn around. We're at the point where the Fed would usually halt rate hikes and begin easing again. If they don't do that, they would be knowingly blowing up the system. So if they don't change things drastically, they would knowingly blow up the system. Betting that they would continue things as they're going would be knowing that they're going to blow up the system, which brings us to this chart right here, probably the best chart for Bitcoin that I've seen in a very, very long time. Bids on the Bitcoin order book and Coinbase are stacked down from 17,000 and below. A lot of people are hoping to buy Bitcoin lower. The last time the order book was skewed on this bid side was the grind up from the March 2020 lows. You can see we have a lot of bids here. Everybody's trying to buy Bitcoin below $20,000, which is unlikely to happen at this point because the market always disappoints the most people possible. Well, the last time we see the bids this skewed was way back here when we set the bottom between March and October of 2020 before the price blasted off. Well, guess what? The price is likely to blast off once again because we are right now leaving the Bollinger Bands %B recharge zone. Every time Bitcoin has left there historically, it's been a massive bull run for Bitcoin. We're seeing stable coins being deployed back into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So all the money that's been sidelined since the top back in November, well, now it's coming back into Bitcoin, and this is inversely correlated with the crypto market cap. So as these stable coins get deployed into cryptocurrency, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies continues to increase, potentially based on this chart right here, just for Bitcoin alone. By the time, based on this Bitcoin log price versus adjusted log time chart, by December of 2023, so not even that far off, less than a year and a half from now, we could likely have Bitcoin at $160,000 to $180,000 per Bitcoin. So despite what everybody's talking about, despite all the fear about the Fed and everything happening there, guess what? It's likely already priced in, and this chart right here pretty much proves it. So that's all for Bitcoin today. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.